So, I have no idea what I'm looking at. There's a board here, and there's this wall thing. It's really interesting. Looks like there's 3 powerhouse museums. Like always, they have this kind of elevator escalator set up. Yeah, then kind of used to reach the bottom king. You see the Gothic architecture blended in with the new modern style architecture. It's actually quite interesting. The overhead kind of steel rails contrasted by those Gothic windows. Those hemispherical rectangular windows. A nice elevator in the middle that kind of takes you down. A King's Theatre, which I thought was interesting, but there was someone in there and I was a bit scared. Just like, I had no idea what to do. I mean, it's quite good so far, I guess. It's mostly empty, I would say, which is pretty nice if you have like fear of being crushed in a very tight space. Although even tight spaces could be nice as well sometimes, like an aquarium, when you're walking through a certain kind of tunnel. It feels less vulnerable sometimes, but well, when you're in an open air museum, it feels much more vulnerable. You can see there's a private event in there. I think there was some kids in their school. But, oh, that's very interesting. Lab 1 external. What the hell is that? Oh, these are some games. That is so cool. So that's a Sega Master System. I always wanted to see one up close. You can see it's 86. Had a cartridge system. And the earliest cartridge system was made by this black guy in America. Pretty damn cool. Afterward, Japanese kind of really made it much more of a thing. Now even like, the Switch uses it. Nintendo still uses it. Even the PS4 or Xbox has kind of long went off. Oh, there's no glass here? No, there is glass. Glass can be kind of deceiving sometimes. I see the Odyssey video game console is pretty good too. It's the Odyssey. I heard some really good stuff on it. 72. I forgot who made it, but yeah. And the Amiga, Commodore. Apparently pretty damn good too. The Commodore 64 was one of the best consoles of all time, I would say. Well, not consoles, but I think it was just a general purpose computer. So yeah. Solar cars as well. Core flute, plastic wheels. Those solar panels are kind of just placed on top of the cars like that, which is quite nice. Another diagram reminds me of Persona when you hit a map. It tells you exactly what everything is, where everything is. There's a bit more stuff to my... Oh. To the top of that. So how does that work? I'm supposed to go out and go back in, I think. Okay. So here's another steam engine that's again, it's quite nice. See, they're using that to rotate. I think that's just for decoration. But yeah. Really cool. Wheels, and they have a really large wheel on the other side. That's I guess maybe that's just there to show off how it looks. Their signature chimney that kind of gives off excess pressure, I guess. Pretty sure that's what the chimney is used for. Yeah, it's pretty good. And the rear engine is used to drive those rear sets of wheels. So I guess it's a rear wheel drive. That needs to generate enough torque to then, carry the load forward as possible. That's just how that works. So I might have found something quite interesting. This is a very efficient engine, it seems, developed by a man called Henry Corliss. It's a rotary valve system, I guess, which damn, I closed that fast. It's really annoying. I think that's an infrared sensor. But yeah, okay, they have some very nice things to show off, I guess. This time they're using 2 drive shafts, I guess. To then kind of reverse cycle the energy produced. But yeah. Well, maybe I think that's just used for stabilization, to be honest, so it doesn't go too fast or too slow. That's their central load, I guess. Their gear. Guess they would be able to attach that to a belt or another set of gears right next to it. It's really nice. Anyway. Line sharpens hundreds of machines. Some photos of this. But that's how you would be able to leverage the thing. Probably need something that's really high, very high input energy, torque output, to be able to drive that much load. Printing is one usage of that, I guess. Very interesting. So I guess those bars are the round things on the top, they actually turn. You can see the belts, the wheels, they turn pretty well. The surface there, interesting. Just using similar mechanisms, I guess. I didn't really know they use these things. Huh. So they just wanted to have like one engine that's doing most of the input work. Almost akin to like a house. Because, you know, you're able to just generate the energy in one place. It's just much more compact. And, you know, might be more efficient maybe, because you can just design the energy exactly for the needs of your entire load. So you can calculate the entire load beforehand and then design that engine. And, you know, you can upgrade the engine, you can just do anything you want with a single kind of placement. It's very nice. Multiple kind of loads from the wheels. The wheels, I guess, are shaped like that so you could either generate more torque or generate more speed. So that's, I guess, why you have a wheel there, other than just using the rotating mechanism. Maybe it's just more safer as well. I don't know. Marshall machine. Gold dredge. Okay, so it's dredging up gold. High pressure, larger low pressure cylinder. So you have a high pressure cylinder, small high pressure cylinder. So the smaller it is, and you're kind of inputting the same amount of air or whatever, I guess, then you're going to have more pressure, I guess. The larger the chamber, the higher the volume, the less pressure. It's the kind of ideal gas equation. Here, I guess you're a specific engine that's kind of made for dredging. So I guess it's a very high torque engine. They're actually using the engine there to power this. They're using belts and another kind of bar. They're connecting the belt to the rotating wheel. The rotating wheel then drives the crankshafts. Dual crankshafts, which is pretty good. I guess they could use a cam as well, but cams might not be as stable in terms of the energy output. Interesting, they have their tools and such, boiler tools. Very nice. A hoe and a shovel and that's a boiler. Call it a boiler. Can load, can dig the coal and stuff like that, I guess. If you have like a coal furnace here, you would use those tools and load them here, and then you'll steadily burn, leverage the energy generated from it. Oh, what is that? This is a pump, I guess. Doing that, you're pumping more water into the system. So you're pumping water from there to there. It's kind of like a reversing the effects of gravity. Okay. And you lift it up, it goes down, it compresses the water, generates higher pressure in that chamber that is able to then push the rest of that water up and into the interface. Very nice. there's some more engines, I guess. I'm just going to talk a bit more about these before I go. But, oh, nice. So this is a propeller that, it's very interesting kind of connections between the piping. Lawrence Hargrave. Very cool. It's very steampunk imagery. Neo steampunk, yeah. I mean, kind of far off, but I mean, I guess cars still kind of use something that's an internal combustion engine. They're using more electrical stuff nowadays, but hybrid, other hydrogen, whatever have you, diesel. You know, the core process is very similar in the internals. Triple expansion. You can use these in chips to drive the propeller. It's a very interesting design, these propellers. The way their surface is kind of curved and allow kind of higher and lower pressure certain regions as it kind of turns. Some up here with your drive shafts, crankshafts, on the wheels, and the linear engine in the middle that's driving the two kind of wheels in the middle. The other wheels are just kind of there to support the system cartridge. Not really sure exactly why they went with this, but it's not a bad system because it works, I guess. That one at the top is using also two wheels, I think. Two wheels, or maybe three. There's three large wheels, two kind of smaller forward wheels. There seems to be quite a bit of nuance and differences between each one. See those ones as well, those Neo electrical engines. They quite a bit different. You have electrical motors, you can leverage certain things. Steam-powered submarine as well, which almost seems like a UFO, like a flying saucer. Steam lawnmowers, steam-driven airships as well. You know, I think hot air balloons actually kind of count, but they don't really use any mechanical parts. Ice cutter. Yeah. I thought that would probably be okay, but I guess when you're near the water and you're trying to cut things, it's probably not as good. A rocket, that's not gonna work. Yeah, there's just not enough, like, large enough input energy, output energy, instantaneous burst energy, I guess. Instant torque is what's required. It almost looks like a microscope or some shit like that. I don't even know what that is. Kind of turns. Very elaborate setups people have built. Something very similar with these. The Parsons turbine. Oh, so it's a turbine. Look at that. Wow. That's water. It's filling that with water. You have some kind of gaseous way to make gas, steam. It's how you would drive these turbines. These Again, one of these things I keep noticing with the turbines is that there's a lot of teeth or gears in between each kind of bit of the shaft. I'm not entirely sure what that's for. I think that's just for leveraging the air intake a bit more efficiently. This increases the surface area of the kind of the shaft itself, really, for it to spin. By doing so, it leverage the kind of the forward blowing air, the aeroponics, not aeroponics, the pneumatics much more efficiently. I guess jet engines also have something very similar. Not quite like that. This one is kind of gets a bit smaller and then becomes a bit bigger and shorter at the same time. It's a very interesting setup. Again, I guess it kind of makes sense depending on the way the air kind of moves in and then up. So you kind of just want to be able to leverage the way the air travels. But I haven't really designed a turbine myself, so I can't really tell you too much about design decisions. I think this is called a Parsons turbine. So, system of multiple smaller blades allows you to have something that's probably much more stable. 1,000 revolutions per minute. 2 governors. I forgot exactly what a governor was. I think they had something like that in maths. But yeah. Anyway, magnetic servo motor mechanism. So, noticed a very interesting thing here. I think it's a hydroplane, but without your things at the bottom that kind of stabilizes the stuff. I think it can just use the thing itself, the chassis itself, as a stabilizer as it kind of hits the water. And it's a pretty big plane, as you can see. It's Australian. I think that's, I don't know, some South American country or Texas or something. I don't know what that is, but it's a frigate bird, and that tells you it's probably something to do with the ocean as well. But yeah, probably naval plane. You can see there's like a cockpit with a forward cockpit almost. So I think maybe the driver, the pilot, sits in the secondary cockpit, and the gunner or the scouter sits in the forward cockpit. I think it's probably something like that. Here the engine setup is quite close. It's kind of interesting. Very close to each other, and very kind of in the middle. So I guess this is an interesting design decision. This way the wings are also very high. So what they wanted was higher kind of maneuverability or stability. I think it's maneuverability when the wings are higher, but I'm not entirely sure. If you have a bird that's got wings that are higher, for example, that would probably make it much more, maybe that would make it more stable. But you think for something like this, you don't really care that much about maneuverability, you care more about stability. So probably a scouter plane or some kind of, I don't know, weather reconnaissance plane. Now they have 2 kind of reverse cockpits, scouters or gunners or whatever, I guess. not sure if this is a warplane. It could be a warplane, but they just removed the guns or something. This could just be as simple as that, I guess. And that's an actual, like, replica of a train, I guess, or maybe an actual train. Oxford, Paddington. Oh, so these are the actual kind of carriages. They use horses. Actual kind of carriages that could be connected to the horse-drawn wagons and carriages, I guess. Wait, that does have... Is that an electrical line? So that could be in a tram, I guess. Electrical tram. I didn't really see any systems of converting the power into rotational power. But there could be some kind of motor inside somewhere, and there's wires that are connected to that. Yeah, it could be something like that, I guess. And I think that's an actual replica of a rocket, which is really cool. And an engine, rocket engine. Damn, it's insane. I think that's a plane cockpit as well. I want to check that out. Is that a 1-to-1 scale replica of a satellite? Huh. Yeah, so two kind of satellites. One satellite there. I think there's kind of appendages on the satellite, especially that cylindrical one, there to kind of deliver compressed air, to kind of move it slightly to one side. Same thing with that. I think that's a landing rover or something. A module, space module, that you would probably use as well. That central thing, this huge ass, it's not really huge, but it's a nice dual propeller setup plane. It became quite common, and eventually the propellers were gone, and you had two engines. Two is good for redundancy, I guess, because you could just have like a single jet engine. A lot of like jets could just have like a single engine at the back. You just rely on that. Probably also help with the weight. But having redundancy in something like a passenger engine would probably be quite good too. This is, an airfighter engine. Here, that's a very interesting one though. And the tail, you can see it's also, I think that's a pretty standard tail. You get your vertical stabilizer, your horizontal stabilizers, and you have your control surfaces on each that are able to yaw and lift the plane as a plane. Go up and down, left and right. There's probably control surfaces on the main wings as well. At the back. Well, maybe not, I'm not sure. I can't see from here. Guess I'm going down then. Look at that. The Luna 6. Made by the Soviet scientists in '66. Or maybe that's the Luna Cod 2 rover. But yeah, Soviet rover. Suspended overhead, and that's the Luna 6. And this is the Luna Cod 2. That is really cool. I would want to get a bit closer to them. CCCP, Soviet Union, CCCP. Just a year after soft landing. That's very interesting. 1 ton. Same kind of materials, titanium. Oh, space probes. Feeling almost a bit dizzy. Just check out a bit more of this. There's probably a bit more stuff down there too. Staten Light, 24 meters. Oh, that's just that. Okay. Lower, I guess. Well. Disposable things are pretty good now I think about it. Things that you can use a few times and just dispose of it. It's just, and then recycle it or some shit like that, I guess. Ah, very interesting. See, it's very nice and shut. You're quite comfortable there in space. Some top compartment or something. I don't know what that is. Look, two dudes. Almost mannequins with faces, it seems. They have a control panel that they can use to set and adjust certain features. I'm not sure, I can't really read those things. I wonder if I can magnify this a bit. I can't read it. The light is a bit too scattered, so I can't really read it. Well, I guess Soyuz. The Soyuz satellite spacecraft. R&D module. It's really cool. Mission space. Coke as well. Funny thing how they had Coke back then, but nowadays with all sanctions and stuff like that, I guess they don't really have it anymore. The new space race is also very cool. That's the anti-gravity thing. I didn't really want to go in there. Unless it was a real thing, I would probably go there. Yeah, apparently it can make you feel a bit dizzy. Didn't really want to do that. So I have no idea what I'm looking at. There's a board here, and there's this wall thing. It's really interesting. Looks like there's 3 powerhouse museums.